You had mentioned the fact that people don't really follow or have reverence for the Constitution anymore, and I certainly agree with that. But why is it that you and all the other conservative and libertarian commentaries don't talk about what is the purpose of a Constitution? I'm an attorney, or I was an attorney, and I can tell you that very few attorneys really understand what the function of a Constitution. And all I hear from you and others is, well, we just don't respect the Constitution anymore, but there's very little about explaining why a Constitution is so important.
Could I try?
Is that a challenge?
Good. Well, I think that the Constitution represents our rules of the game, and it represents the relationship that we have between American and Americans and government. You'll hear some attorneys say, well, a narrow interpretation of the Constitution is wrong because the Constitution is a living document. And anyone who says that the Constitution is a living document is also saying that we do not have a Constitution. Because for the rules of the game to mean anything, they have to be fixed. Or another way to put it is to ask you, how many of you would like to play me poker tonight and the rules be living? You know, maybe my two pair, under certain circumstances, can beat your three of the kind. You know. Now, the founders, in their wisdom, they gave us Article 5 because as a means to amend the United States Constitution, because they recognized that some changes might have to be made. But again, I think that the purpose of the Constitution is to lay out the rules of the game, and also the purpose of the Constitution is to limit what the government can do, to limit the power of Congress. I mean, if you read through the Constitution, there are about 40 restrictions on Congress. Or if you look just at the Bill of Rights, I mean, the Bill of Rights, the language of the Bill of Rights says, Congress shall not infringe. Congress shall not disparage. Congress shall not prohibit. I mean, all this distrust for Congress, because the founders knew that government was the enemy of mankind.
Well, okay,
but we need
let
some
me
government.
challenge you on this.
And I ask you, and I point out that when we die, and if at our next destination we see anything like the Bill of Rights, we know that we're in hell. Because a Bill of Rights in heaven would be an insult to God. I mean, that you cannot trust God.
But look, I mean, the Constitution basically allowed slavery. It basically said a black man is worth 3/5 of what a white man is. It did not allow women to vote. I mean, so a lot of people on the left who don't agree with you, they say, well, this is a racial document that disparages the rights of people that it's supposed to protect.
Well, first of all, my God, I am thankful for that compromise that made blacks count for 3/5 of a vote. And the reason why is that the slaveholding states wanted their slaves to count for one vote. And if they counted for one vote, it would give the slaveholding states more power in Congress. And so that's why there was this, and matter of fact, the Constitutional Convention could have gone down the tubes, but there's this compromise where they said, well, it's 3/5. And then the Constitution worked on the abolition of slave trade. Now, first of all, I would say that you're never going to find a perfect set of rules in the game until we get to heaven. And so, but if you say, what are the real choices here on earth? You're not going to come up with much better than the United States Constitution. It was not a perfect document. But, you know, it's more perfect than anything else, anywhere else. And it was perfect enough to have people from all the world want to come to the United States, flee to the United States. And I think that's a very good.
They still want to come.
But however, the sad thing is that many people are leaving. Businesses and others are leaving, and I think Americans ought to be concerned about why some people are leaving and taking their money with them.